build a software as a service completely from scratch. If you can hear and see me, please chat, let me know, because I'm having again some technical issues like the last time. I'm multi-streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. In the meantime, let's discuss on what we are going to do today. So this is 6 episodes building an AI vision software as a service. Let me share my screen. And this is a series that I've been doing for around a week, a bit more, 10 days, where we're going to build an AI vision tool completely from scratch. What is this tool specifically? There is an annotation and training tool. Think something like RoboFlow, where you can annotate and train your own model. Think something like CVAT, CVAT.ai, MakeSense.ai, Label Studio, V7 Labs. We have so many different softwares like this online. So you might wonder, why are you also building some software like this if there are so many online? Because I'm bringing something different. I'm bringing something different in a way that it is very simple. It is very simple. Okay, let me, sorry, because I have some technical issues here with the chat. I cannot read the messages. Okay, now I can see the message. Hi, Yavoir, welcome to the live. I'm great. How are you? Chat, let me know if you can hear me, if you see me. Type where are you from. So what I'm bringing different from the other software, I'm bringing simplicity, because many of the software that you can find, especially the open source one, like CVAT has an open source version. You can do there your annotation, but it's very complex. There is quite a high learning curve that you have to go through to learn CVAT. It doesn't have all the advanced auto labeling feature that we want to implement. Then we have RoboFlow, which is the most advanced. RoboFlow is great. It's mostly cloud, and they are targeting like companies because it has a certain entry price, which should be around something like $99 per month at the moment, if you check. And then we have other software, like which are some of them open source, not very easy to use. What I'm bringing different the simplicity, but also the possibility to install everything on your local machine, so you don't need to send the data to the cloud. And this is quite a big requirement for many companies, because it's not about not feeling safe with your data. That could be one thing, but also about the bureaucracy that these can have if you have to send data outside, especially in countries and locations like Europe, where we have very strict law about data protection. Many companies, many developers don't want to use cloud services. So I'm building a tool that you can install on your machine, whether it's Windows, Linux, or Mac. It will be a very simple installer that you can have on your machine. This is episode 6. We are quite far already with our solution, and now I'm going to show you what we have so far. This is now the tool that we have. So when we run, now it's on Python, later I will make executable available and everything that's necessary. What can we do with this tool? This is an annotation tool. So if we want to proceed with the annotation, first we need to import our images. So I imagine that now you have a data set that you want to annotate. So we import our images, and then I'm now going to do that. I have some data set. Let me see if I can get also another better data set. I'm downloading some nice data set about safety helmet. Let me see if I can get that working. I'm downloading now this one, safety helmet, so we can test the training of this one. If it works otherwise, I will use another data set. So let me try this. Let me prepare everything. So here we have the safety helmet, like this. I'll move everything right here. So I'm extracting, I have around 7,000 images. I download it from this data set right here. No, by mistake I'm running. Now you don't see, but I'm on the other screen just trying to get this data set. So I should have now the images. Let me now import the image of this safety helmet data set. So since we have 7,000 images, it might take a few seconds. And here there is already something that I want to also improve. So when I'm importing like some big chunk of images, I want to, instead of lagging here, instead of being blocked, I want to display that we are importing the images. So to be sure that we are importing our images, now let me go through this one. So I want to check the Python, so to make sure that it's running, it's using 8% of the CPU, so something is happening there. Chat, let me know, have you got experience with annotating with any of the tools, whether it's RoboFlow or other tools, annotating and training your own model? If you have questions about training, annotation, I'll be happy to see what you write in the chat and to reply to your questions. While we are importing the images into this. Oh, it's lagging quite a lot. So it might prove that the importing is working, but I want to show that something is happening here. So let me go with a smaller data set for the moment, because I have one goal today. Today I want to integrate the training. We're going to integrate the training for object detection, object segmentation, and classification. So no time wasted on the dataset. So let's stop this one. Let's just import now a small image dataset, and later we will work also on this. So I have blood cells. I'm bringing now. So we run this again. And I'm going to import right here blood cell dataset like this one. You see here we have 259 images. Annotations. I don't have annotation. Sorry, like I miss tomato. Okay, I have tomato dataset, not blood cell. I have tomato, which was the one from the previous live. So tomato dataset. Detection, tomato, okay. Import images. Well, for tomato, we have 859 images. Like this, and then we also import the labels. We want to import, we say yes. Now we see from the code it's importing everything, and we imported the annotation, and we see that if we go, we have the tomato correctly annotated. So now with this, we want to proceed with the training. Here on the top right, we see training. We have two options. We have training augmentation. We have data augmentation. This, if we don't have enough images, we can increase the number. So here now we have 895 images. Through the augmentation, which will be flipping, rotation, brightness, zooming, we can get till 2,685 images, or 10,000, or up to 10 times the number of images that we have. And the augmentation currently works. What we have to implement today is the training. So right here we see we can choose the models. Let's say RTDat, we start training. It says starting the training, but we don't have the training functionality now implemented. So let's do that. How do we do this? I'm going to use GitHub Copilot. So now I'm in PyCharm. This is vibe coding. So we will use the Copilot. We will ask the AI model to implement everything that we want to implement. So we select the option agent and then we go and choose the model. I'm going to use the model Claude Opus 4.5, which is so far my favorite. It seems the one that writes the best code. Chat, what's your favorite model? Gemini, Claude Opus, Claude Sonnet, or any other models? I'll be happy to hear and to discuss with what are the options. Now, right here we go agent, and then we can say very briefly, I want to implement the training function. I want for object detection. Now let's start only from object detection. So what's the difference? Object detection, it's only trained to detect bounding boxes of the objects. Segmentation, you can also detect polygons. And classification, you can only classify the image without specifying any location. I want to implement the training function for object detection so that when I click the button start training, it will train the model. I want only one model for now, the that model, and from Hugging Face, and then we go with this. So I know exactly what model I want. I want that, and for now we'll stick only to this model. The most popular now it's YOLO, but they are very comparable with accuracy. That is one of the best now. YOLO has quite some restricted license, so at the moment I cannot integrate unless I cannot integrate the one from Ultralytics for this software. I could integrate only another open source version which will have a more open license, which is Apache 2 or MIT license. So I know that RTDat is the one that have like some license that allow to like the full use of the model, so we go with this one. Now I have a good understanding of, let me create RTDat trainer. So now we have the machine learning folder here on the left. So you will see right here on the left, we have machine learning. Here it's going to, it has a few things: base, device manager, SAM predictor. These are things that SAM predictor is for, will be used for automated annotations later on. And now, as you see, it's creating a new file into this folder, which will be managing the training. So we see RTDat trainer, we accept, let's keep all the changes. Now it's going to update the training dialog to integrate with the trainer. And most likely also we need to work on the installation, because the training can happen only if you have a graphic card. So let's say for the training there are some strict entry requirements that you absolutely need to have an NVIDIA graphic card to be able to handle that. Let's keep all right here. I'll update setup, UI method. In the meantime, I'm reading the Copilot chat right here. By the way, if you are new to the lives, I'm making 2 different live series now. If you're interested, so on my channel PySource on YouTube, I'm streaming almost every day now. Let's say at least 3 times per week. in this time, and also now it's afternoon for me, and I'm streaming also morning my time, so a few hours before this, let's say 3-4 hours before this. If that fits with your with your schedule, you can also follow different times. I'm streaming two different series. In this one, I'm building this AI vision tool from scratch. In the other series, I'm building a real industrial AI inspection system. So if you're interested into AI vision, identify defects of products for manufacturing. So let's say some some more specific, something more niche about this, or if you're simply interested to use computer vision to identify defects, identify small things, so to work with accuracy, more advanced things, you can also stay tuned and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and you will be notified also when I'm going live with the other series. So you will see this PySource and then you go into the live. Now here we reach the limit, so we click continue and we make our Copilot work. So as I was saying here, since we need to work with the training, into the requirements, it's adding the library torch, transformer, accelerate, because we need PyTorch for the training, but also we need to work with our graphic card. So this is now PyTorch, and then I will show you we need to install the graphic card. Let me go on PyTorch on Google, and then we see pytorch.org. We scroll down, and here there is the installation of PyTorch. We have Windows, Python, and then we have PyTorch with CUDA. CUDA is the framework that runs on the NVIDIA graphic cards, and that's the one that we use for the deep learning and machine learning libraries. That's what we are going and what we need to install in this exact moment. Let's allow here the code to do all the changes necessary. The remaining warnings are just static analysis. Dataset class is none when torch is not available. I need to make the Coco style dataset class conditional. Now, I gave so much freedom to the Copilot, so it's pretty much taking all the context of the project, but is doing pretty much everything without any real instructions. Now I want just a base working, and then I will go more into details if necessary. And for my experience, the training annotation is not only my experience, but also experience of members in my academy. So I have many professionals that work in industries, like could be manufacturing. Yeah, mostly I will say manufacturing, but different industries. Could be animation industry, analytics, and they have all similar problem, which is annotating and training the model, which probably because it takes so much time. And so that's something that that I want to make easier for them, and easier for me also. The training and annotation, it's quite time consuming. And now there are models like SAM3, segment anything, that can already auto-annotate big part of the data set. And so even if you delegate the annotations, you can delegate only, not doing full annotations from scratch, but you can only delegate the verification of the annotation and the improvement where it's necessary. Let's allow, the output is being truncated, so it seems that it's not working yet. Let's keep all the changes. Maximum tool attempts reach, continue. And by the way, I'm hoping to get this software out already in a couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks maximum. By working a few hours per week, that's my goal. I'm building everything completely from scratch and completely live. So this is episode 6, and everything was built, everything that you see so far was built in the previous episodes, which for me it's quite mind-blowing at the moment. Now let's load our dataset. So we import the images right here of our tomato dataset. Then we're going to import the labels. Let's say yes. This is what we worked on in the last live. Like this. So we have the annotations. Yeah, we have the annotations right here. And now we want to go with the training. So we go on training, model training, and we're getting an error. So session state object has no attribute current project. Let's say this when I start the training, I get this error like this. Let's now solve this bug. So we want to, not even start the training. It's even before I open the dialog of the training. Now we want to test the training. I want to train the model to detect with RTDet. For object detection, I want to train this on the tomatoes dataset. You cannot try opening the train dialog. Okay, it should be fixed, the error. So let's try running this again. So we go training. First, of course, we need to have our dataset. So let's import the images right here. We're also going to import the labels like this. We say yes. Labels are imported. So let's see. Yes, we have the label. So go training, model training. We have some information about our training. We have 895 images, 4,917 annotations. We have two models, RTDet 50, RTDet 101, epochs 100, batch size 4. Now we leave everything very basic. Here we can decide if use or not the GPU, very interesting. I'm not sure the GPU is installed at the moment, so let's try start the training. So I go, please create or open a project before training. So I get this error, which I want to fix. So we cannot train the model now. I'm getting, so let's show this error. I'm getting this error. And I'm pasting the image. Training video require a project to be created first. I see that session stated as image and classes, but may not have a full project. Okay, I think that it understood exactly what we are struggling with, so that's something we need to work on. Let's keep everything here. The fix is complete. Now let's click start training. So now let's try again. We want to train our model for detection. So we bring the images right here. So we have the images, we have tomato images, it works. We bring the labels. Now it's importing the labels. We see we have 895 images annotated. Everything is working. And now let's start the training. So we go on model training, 100 epochs, batch size 4. Let's keep, ideally it should be a bit bigger. I'm not sure about this model now. Let's say 16. And let's now start the training. So if everything is configured correctly, it should use the graphic card. So I have NVIDIA RTX 4090. You can see here with dedicated GPU memory of 24 gigabyte. And if we use the GPU, we need to see something happening here. Now the GPU is used only 28% because I'm streaming, but not for the training. Train failed. So let's give this error right here. I'm getting this error, so let's remove this context right here. Let's keep all the changes. The fix is applied, so let's try again. Training and augmentation. We import images. We import the labels like this. Let's say yes. Everything is loaded. So let's now go training and augmentation, model training. Let's leave everything now as default and let's click start training. RTDET, Hungarian match requires the SciPy library. Well, ideally I should create some test, create some test for training so that I don't have, let's say, so that I don't have to run everything from the UI. So we want to create the training test and let's leave it like this. Also, I want the function to split the data set in train, validation, test, which is not integrated now. So let's give some instruction to fix this for our training. So here we have the errors that we got before. 17,900, interesting. So I will copy this because we need to fix all these problems that we have with the training. Let me create a comprehensive test script for training that can run without the graphic user interface. So this is something that I ask because we need to save time now. I'm always running the graphic user interface and I have to load the data set each time. So that's not the best way to build a software. We need to have all the different tests to move much faster with this, so that we can focus only on some small module. Now we want to focus on this specific module for the training. And when the software, when this application will become bigger and bigger, then all this part will be put in place together. So every module will have its own tests so that the application can be developed further without having the risk of messing around with the main application. Because now the structure is decent, but it could be improved quite a lot still. Let me update the RTDat trainer to use a new splitter and support train val test splits. It's getting too hot here. Turn off the heater a bit. These are just warnings. Allow, let's keep all the changes. And I'm using Cloud Opus 4.5. I built pretty much the entire application with Cloud Opus, except yesterday that Cloud Opus wasn't able to fix a specific bug, and somehow I used Gemini 3, and with Gemini 3 we were able to fix it. This doesn't mean that Gemini 3 is better in general, but in that specific case it found an alternative, and it found a way to make things work, which was great. Update the get training config method. Import config split prepared. So let's have a look of this test training. Create sample project. Create a sample project with synthetic images, annotations for testing. Very interesting. So I don't even have to create the images. Create classes. Test dataset split. It's interesting. I don't even have to give the images because they are synthetic created images. Let's allow. Just a quick update. If you're coming now to the live, we're working on an AI annotation tool, something similar to RoboFlow, CVAT. This one is CVAT. Makes sense. Label Studio V7 Labs, and this software is essential if you want to make your own AI model to detect, segment, and classify objects, because it will save you a lot of time. And I'm making this software from scratch. I'm making a very simple version that can run on your computer, whether it's Windows, Mac, or Linux. There will be a very simple installation. I want to get the best of the cloud tools of this tool, like RoboFlow, Civat, Label Studio, and so on. I want to get the best and bring everything into a software that can run locally on your machine. That's what we are doing in this live. And we're doing everything live so that you will see the process, how to go from an idea to a final working product. Okay, now this should be working. We have the dataset test, core dataset splitter. I want to see, okay, we have the test dataset splitter, machine learning, test training. Okay, let's run this test training. So I'm testing the training. Now I'm in a phase where I want to train a model. Test dataset splitting only, test trainer imports only. Create sample project and runs all test. So test training.py create samples, project path to project. Let's say I have already a data set. In the meantime, Adobe wants to make some update. I'm not sure I like now to work on this test like this. So let's have a look of what it suggests. Summary: I've created the following components for training without the graphic user interface: split config, configuration class for split ratio, random seed, stratification settings, dataset split, result class with train val test, image list, and statistics, dataset splitter main class that handles the splitting with random or stratified splitting, YOLO format export functionality, proper handling of annotated versus unannotated images. That's pretty cool. Split dataset convenient function for a quick split. And that's how we can use it. So let me run this from the command line so we can play around with this and test it. We have the command line here. We have the terminal. Let's say Python test training. Okay, we have here the help. So I wanted to make sure that it's working. So let's now create sample Python. Test training create sample. 20 images, 3 classes, 65 annotations. Let's now, what is this? Create sample annotation training. Run actual training. Okay, this should be already running the training, which is what I want to know. I want to make sure that we can run the training before we go any further. So we paste this, testing full training pipeline, preloading the model, fail, pip install ShapeI. Okay, that's why it's great to have a test, because now each time we need to do something, we can use the test without opening every time the graphic user, the UI. Hi Gruesh, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are now working on the training. So if you're interested, now we're going to show how to train a model to detect and segment objects. That's our part of the software as a service where we are in this moment. I'm getting this error. Now there is some library that needs to be installed. So let's use the Cloud Opus right here to To fix this, so it should implement into the requirements txt this SciPy library that we don't have at the moment. So let's allow this. So we need to install, yes, let's install this library. And I'm curious if it's already using the graphic card, because to train model, we need to have the graphic card enabled. NVIDIA graphic card. It might also work with Mac devices. Now the Mac devices, they have the this chip, the graphic card integrated, like Mac devices from M1, M2, and so on, can handle such stuff. So if you have a Mac, you can do this on your machine without external graphic cards. It might be limited with the memory, so you should have at least 16 gigabyte of RAM. If you have the 8 gigabyte version, you might be able only to train small models. If you have a Mac, if you have experience also, I'll be curious to know. I've tried this on a Mac Mini with 8 gigabyte of RAM and it was quite limited. But with more memory, it was M1 chip. But except the training, the device was working extremely fast, like weave detection. It was pretty impressive what it could reach. The terminal is showing the output properly. Let me also add SciPy to the requirements txt. Okay, finally, like, of course we need this. Of course we need to add SciPy to the terminal, to the requirements txt. And by using this, my idea is that you go from, you open the software, you put your own images, you run the auto annotation, and then after that you go click training, and I want like that right away in 1 hour or something like this, you can have already your data set ready. I want to make like things very simple and fast. That's my goal. Hi, Mediap. Welcome to the live. Where are you chat writing from? We have Gruesh, we have Mediap. I'm based in Europe right now, Sofia, Bulgaria. It's 3:15 my time zone. I saw that we have quite different time zones usually from the chat. Now the training test passed successfully. You can run training without the graphic user interface. So let's test all of these. So create sample train epoch. Let's try this code like this. Training, full training pipeline. Training started. No accelerator is found. Well, there is no GPU used in this moment. The training will take like ages from like this. I am from Pakistan. Welcome from Pakistan. It's the first time that I have someone, at least writing in a chat from Pakistan. So you are the first. Welcome, Mediap 5499. So since we have you as someone else new in the chat, let me quickly show you what we are building today. Today we are building an AI vision tool where we can create model to detect and segment any object that we want. Tools like we have RoboFlow, like this, CVAT.ai, Make Sense, Label Studio, V7 Labs, software like this. So I'm going to take the best from this software. I want to make something very simple to you that can run on your machine. I know that many of these companies, they are big companies, they are targeting other big companies that they are working with huge data set, with teams of people. I want to target like more simplicity. I want to offer these to developers. So if you're a single developer or a very small team and you need to annotate hundreds or thousands of images, you want to do this on your machine, then this software is for you. It's a software that you can run easily on the Mac, on Windows, on Linux. There will be a simple installer. You can train your model right on your machine. When we will finish this, also along the way, you will see how simple this is. Not only now you will see this, but if you're here in the live, you can also see how I go through create such software with vibe coding, how fast we can build such software today. And also you can have a touch of how we can go from an idea starting from zero to having a product, a final solutions working for clients. Hi Fash, welcome. Remember you from a few lives. Welcome to the chat. I know that you are not happy about the cursor that you will not be able to see yet. That's something I will be working, I promise, whenever I have the chance, all these improvements for the interface for the live. I'm adding slowly some improvements to the live. So now I'm streaming in 2 platforms. So I'm trying to expand. We are live today on YouTube and we're live today on LinkedIn. Soon I might add a new platform where we're going live. I have also Instagram. So that could be the next one. So thanks everyone that's now in the live. Is okay, I will fix my glasses, great. But I understand, like I'm thinking that I already tried to make this bigger, so normally I wouldn't use the terminal so big as you see it right now, because you see there is not much here to see. If we go on settings right here, my appearance, where is it? Appearance, behavior, appearance. I'm zooming this by 150%. So normally I use this much smaller, 100%. But I'm trying to make this bigger so that you people in live, you can see this also if you have a smaller screen. Because I imagine that you might be busy doing something else, maybe have this on the side with small screen. So if you once in a while you want to put the eye on this, I want you to see this. So the screen is bigger than normal, and I hope it's clear for everyone. Hi, Mina Maze Chef, sorry, I can't really pronounce this name. Thanks for all the lessons. Thank you, I'm great that you appreciate the lessons. He's doing great video, I love it. Okay, let's try this. So we have a few members just joining right now. We are going with the training. Now we are going to train a model. So let's now run the test. To run the test, I need to go on the terminal. Chat, whenever you have questions, you want to interact, I'm happy to answer questions. Whether about this live, if you have also some bit of topic question about computer vision, about some projects, some ideas, I'll be happy to hear what's your opinion. In the meantime, now I need to integrate the graphic card. So you should know that we cannot run training without using the graphic card, because it will be extremely slow. So let's stop how do we stop this? Let's stop this. Okay. Now I'm going to integrate the graphic card. Right here I go. First of all, let's commit the changes, because I've been doing quite a lot of changes now without any commit. So implement training and test training. So commit and push the changes. Right here, let's push all the changes like this. I want to install PyTorch with CUDA. With CUDA at 13. Let's go with a new one, 13. So if you want to train the model, you need a graphic card and PyTorch. The graphic card should be NVIDIA GPU, only NVIDIA, and PyTorch. Here we are going to install CUDA 13. I will put this for reference. So this is the installation for reference. like this, and then we go with the agent. So I already know how to install PyTorch here. I'm giving it to the copilot. I want to, okay, to install PyTorch for GPU. So I'm going with Copilot because I want to integrate this into the main installation process. Otherwise, I could just do pip install and install the PyTorch library just for my machine. But since this is going to be a software that needs to be used by other people, I have to have all the process set up so that everyone can install this easily. Even though there will be no code installation. But for testing, it's essential. I want to install PyTorch for GPU with CUDA 13. This is the installation for reference. Pip install. So integrate it into the requirements, and then we run this one. Okay, I see pip install our requirements. It should be already integrated. So let's keep the change. Let's see if we can, if they have it on the requirements. So the requirements is the file where it tells exactly what libraries we need to install to run this. So we go requirements txt, and we see for RT-det training, we need object detection. We need PyTorch with CUDA 13.0 support, and then it added this one. So if now it should probably suggest to run again the installation with the requirements. Yes. So pip install -r requirements. Pip install, no, what is, I'm going to do it here. Pip install -r requirements.txt requirements, and I'm also going to run pip install upgrade, because I want to upgrade libraries if they are already installed. So we run this one. Requirements already satisfied. PyTorch. Okay, you see now it's downloading. At least it should be downloading. Torch Vision. Torch 2.10 with CUDA 13 CU130, and downloading. So this is 2 GB almost. This is the PyTorch package to run our graphic card. And after this, I'm pretty sure that we will be able to run the training. Now it's removing the basic PyTorch and it's putting, so we see uninstall PyTorch 2.10.0, because now it's installing PyTorch 2.10.0 with CUDA support, so it can run on the graphic card. And this can work with pretty much any graphic card, NVIDIA graphic card, as long as you have a minimum of 6 GB of memory, like the old graphic cards, RTX, no, not RTX, GTX 1660 Ti, the GTX 1080, RTX 3060. So these are the minimum. I recommend 12 GB of memory or more, because if you have less memory, you might not have enough for the bigger models, and so it might run out of memory. And it's not that it's slower, it will just not work because it cannot fit into the graphic card. So let's now run the test training. So for trace standing, we have this create sample train epoch 5. So on the terminal, we run this one, Python test training 5 epoch. So testing full training pipeline. Let's see if it's loading the graphic card. It seems it's probably not. Training started. No accelerator found. Okay, something is not working with my card. What could be? CUDA get device count, returning CUDA not supported, likely using older driver or on CPU machine. I'm wondering if this driver CUDA 13 works only with the new cards. So very interesting. CUDA support Wikipedia. So I think that on Wikipedia we have a list for the graphic card and what they support. So let me see. Compute capability. So is this the CUDA version? CUDA 13, it's supports from 7.5 device to CUDA. Okay, so you think it's some code error probably. 7.5. I think it's supported. Yeah, it supports quite old GPU also. The 7.5, we have the NVIDIA Titan RTX 3090. I have the RTX 4090, it's 8.9, so it's definitely supported the graphic card that I have. So the problem is something else. Trigger internally. I'm getting this error. Checking via driver in CUDA version. Let's allow this. PyTorch we could at 12.6. So it's downgrading a bit, which is okay now, because I want also the older graphic cards to work on this. So the compatibility, it's something very important to work on. And I imagine that I will have also to integrate, since this needs to go many different machines, need to work. I need to make sure to understand what graphic card is installed on your machine, and then based on that graphic card, put the right driver. Now let's reinstall PyTorch with the correct CUDA version. So yeah, we're installing an older version, making sure that this will work. Running run in terminal tool is okay. Here we see the processing. We are downloading, initializing, collect the package Torch and Torch Vision. We have CUDA 12.6 with PyTorch 2.10 downloaded. And now it will remove the version with CUDA 13.0, and then it will install this. Now let's see if this solves the problem. Okay, let's now run the test. So the installation has been done correctly. Okay, what am I copying here? I need to run the test. Now let's verify if CUDA is working correctly. Verifying CUDA installation. Oh, now it should be working. We see PyTorch version 2.10.0 plus CUDA 12.6. CUDA is available through CUDA version 12.6. So the graphic card is now working. Graphic card is now working, so we can make sure that we do the tests properly now. How to do the test? We have the training test. In the meantime, I'm leaving this that it completes everything. So it's test CUDA allow. So let's test the training. Test training.py. Python test training.py help, let's say like this. So this is what we want. We want to, okay, let me move out of the screen because I'm covering some important part. We don't need the top left. So we have this one, test training, epoch 5. Let me copy this from here, copy. And then let's run it. Let's paste this. Of course, we need to run it with Python. So we put Python test training.py train epoch, training full pipeline. Let's see if it's using the graphic card. Training started. It's using, okay, now you see NVIDIA GPU, it's used 86, 89%. So we are using the graphic card. The training now it's pretty fast. So far, everything is working. So we can train the model pretty easily with our graphic card. Now I want to test the integration with the final software. So we'll do the same process, but running it from our user interface. Because so far we tested this only from the code. So here it's going, what is going on. Let me try a different approach. Your system supports CUDA to... let's stop this because the problem is solved. Let's go new chat. Let's commit the changes. Here we fix CUDA installation and test. Commit the changes. I'm missing one file like this. And let's push these changes that we've just done right now. Now let's test. Now let's test, make sure that everything is working correctly. We have our software, which I will run from the main.py. So we'll run this one, main.py. This is our software now. This is the annotation software. Let's load an image. I have image of tomatoes. I'm going to load image of tomatoes right here. So I drag and drop tomatoes. We have the images of tomatoes, as you see. Now I'm adding the labels. Let's say yes. And so you see we have the tomatoes annotated. Let's say that we want to train our model now to identify the tomatoes. So we go and do training, augmentation, model training. Let's see some specs here. We have 895 images, 4,926 annotations. This is the model, RTDET R50. Epochs 100, batch size 4. Let's say epochs 5 for now. Batch size 16. So how many images are passed at the same time for training the model? Learning rate now. I don't want to pay much attention to the details of the training because it's more of a test. So let's start now the training. So the training is starting. And we can see here mismatch due to size mismatch. Warning, you are sending an authenticated request to the HF app. Okay, from Hugging Face Token, we don't have it, and that's fine. That's not our goal now. Oh, the training is going. Is it using the graphic card? Yes, it's using the GPU. You can see the NVIDIA RTX 4090. We're using it. You see from the graph around 86%. So there is, of course, some improvement that could be done through the user interface. But so far, everything is working great. So I'm very happy with what I'm getting right now, which was mostly the goal for today. The goal for today was to be able to run the training. "75 of 200 images." I mean, of 200, not images, iterations. I will wait to finish at least one epoch so that this will save the model. So you see now we are 50%. And you can see how fast we can train a model. This means that if we run 100 epochs, usually it takes around 50 epochs to train a model. 100 if it keeps improving. So let's say if you have a very big data set, if there is a lot of variety, it will take more with, of course, more precision. But like in a few hours, maybe 3 hours, in a 3 hours we can train a model, or even less. So I'm taking 3 hours to say a lot. This is because now I have a good graphic card. I have the NVIDIA RTX 4090. If you have smaller graphic card, if you have graphic cards like that runs on laptop, it could take a bit more, but you can still do this. You don't need to run things in the cloud. That's what's important to know. You don't need to get your data outside of your machine. You can keep your own images. You can run everything locally. "97, 98, 99, 100%. Now it's validating, so now it's checking the accuracy of tomato detection. And here we see training runtime, training sample, training per second. Epoch 5. I'm seeing if we have some accuracy measurements here. Probably not. Not yet. Evaluation loss, sample, steps per second, epochs. Training completed successfully. That's interesting. I thought it was running only one epoch. Model saved to training output final model. So the training so far, it said it's created successfully, training on 894 annotated images. So let's see if we have the model where it says on this folder training output. So this is a model that will allow us to detect tomatoes. So let me show you what we have. This one. Let's close. So model to detect tomatoes. Bounding boxes around tomatoes. This is our dataset at the moment. So let's check. Right here on where are the outputs? I don't see the outputs. Components, core. I cannot find the output of this model. We should see here at the beginning. 13. Training steps. I cannot find the output. So let's check everything that we have. We have components, dialog panels, widgets, core, docs, IO formats, ml styles tests. I'm thinking that it created this on the main drive, probably. Outputs. Somehow I miss where it saved this model. Let me ask the Copilot chat, where is the model? So chat, when we train the model, where is the output folder? And this is on RTDat trainer. So let's ask about the specific file for the training. Project root training. Okay, it's where we have the project. I was looking in the where we have the code. Let's see where we have our project. So we have blood cells annotation, blood cell dataset. I'm not sure what's the path of this project. So that's something that I need to figure out my first project. So let's create a new project. Tomato. Where are these projects saved? So I know that the training is working, it's saving the model, but I don't know where the model is saved. So for the moment, let's commit these changes because okay, the changes were already committed. Training output. I think that we are at a point where things need to be restructured a bit, because now I can specify certain folder, when to save the model and so on, but that's not what I want. I want the software to be better structured. For example, I want to save the projects into a database. Now it's very, very random how they are saved. Probably it's saved into a JSON file, which is saved somewhere in the computer. Instead, I want a database for this specific tool. So I want to restructure things a bit. So I will use the plan section. So I'm using Copilot right now. And if you're not familiar with Copilot, like all the agents that are now popular, whether it's Claude, Gemini, and so on, they have some similar structure. They have 4 different options. They have the ask option right here, where you can ask question to the model. The edit option, where you specify the files that you want to edit so that this doesn't change the rest of the files in the project. This is very important for big projects if you're working in companies, because you want to make sure that you change only specific files. Otherwise, there is the risk that you will break something in the code. For this reason, that's edit is mostly used in the companies. Agent is the one where you go all in. The AI model will do everything that thinks it's necessary, and it's what we are doing. And the plan is usually used to plan things, especially at the beginning. It's essential to use the plan option, or if you want to make some big changes. So now I want to make some change. So I want to plan. I want to integrate a database in order to save there the projects and the annotations. So I'm thinking if I could give more instructions regarding the database. I'm not sure. I want to integrate a database to save there the projects and the annotations. So that I can open different projects and I don't have to import every time the annotations. Let's give some more instructions like this, and now we'll be guided by the plan option. Read project manager, models, image manager. Chat in the meantime if you have any questions. Feel free to write. I have a good understanding of the current architecture. Let me look into the I/O formats to understand data. Integrate SQLite database for persistent project annotation storage. That's exactly what I was asking for. And we have many types of databases. Most popular are SQL database and NoSQL database. NoSQL are my favorite because they give you a lot of freedom. But since SQL are better structured, generally faster, and now we will use SQL because the AI is writing the code, and so we can change, so we can have this freedom even with a SQL database. If I was writing this by myself, I would use MongoDB. So no SQL. SQL, very structured. You can consider SQL like an Excel file, and you can consider no SQL like a Word file where you just add things one after the other. SQL Alchemy, add database dependencies, create database. Further consideration, database location, store the SQLite file in a user specific app data folder. Okay, let's keep this as default. Migration strategy, if you plan to evolve the schema over time, consider using Alembic for migration. I don't know this Alembic. For a simple start, how to create tables on first run main surface. Image storage, store only image metadata paths, not raw images in the database. Keep the existing file system-based image loading. This keeps the database lightweight. Yeah, of course, we cannot put the images inside the database. That will be very silly, not very smart. We want in the database only the reference. I might decide to find some path where to put the images, because I don't want to put the reference of the images into the database, because if someone moves the folder or the dataset somewhere else, so I want to create a copy only for the software, a copy of the images only for this software. I see we have someone live also on LinkedIn. Hi, the newcomer from LinkedIn. If you want to share, where are you following from? Because I cannot see who is watching from LinkedIn. I see only that someone is watching, but keep all the changes. So I'll start implementing database integration. File change +4, keep the changes. Let me update the project manager to integrate with the database. I'm very happy of the results I got so far today, because I integrated the biggest part that I wanted to integrate, the training. So now we can do the training. We can take thousands of images, give it to our software, we click train, and then we will have the model to detect and segment the objects that we want. But it needs to be restructured a little bit. Continue. It needs to be restructured because the software is getting bigger and bigger. I'm curious how many lines we have for this software now, lines of code. We have few thousands of lines. We have quite some files, as you see. Let me move myself on the other side so you can see what we have. So you see components, we have so many dialogues, panels, widget. Then we have core, docs, IO formats, machine learning, styles, tests, and then all the main files that we have right here. It's quite a big project. It's becoming this one. Everything coded in 6 episodes. This is 6 episodes, 2 hours per episode, or sometimes even less. This means that everything that you see so far was built in around 12 hours, which is amazing. It's amazing to think. 12 hours could be around, of course, it's very focused and intense, 12 hours. So I wouldn't say one day of work, because 12 hours in a row will be quite draining, but already split it into days, this will be possible. So far it's a weekend project which can already almost work, and soon this project will become a software as a service. I'm going to provide this software, a very basic software, free to access. So I will put a link where you can download and install the software with a basic version. And then a paid version that will have all the functionalities. If you are a member of the community, the AI Vision Academy, you will have full access to this software. If you want to know more about the Academy, there is the link below in the description of this live. There you can learn computer vision, you can have access to this tool. Once it's ready, you can have access to the community. Let's keep the changes. Okay, now it's install SQL Alchemy. So SQL Alchemy is the library that we will use for our database. So let's allow here the installation. Requirements satisfied. Ops maximum tool attempt reach. Let's continue. The Copilot is not working great. Continue. Do your chat have the same problem when you use Copilot, or when you use Claude Code or similar? Because Copilot, it's I'm not happy at all of how it's working. It stops quite often. I'm not sure if it's a problem with Copilot or the Claude option. So it could be either of them. So to double check, I should use some other model and see how it performs. Let's keep here all the changes. Let's allow to do what? To test the database. So database module imported successful, list one project loaded, test project deleted successfully. So everything is working great so far. So the idea of this change right now is that instead each time of importing the images and the labels, I create the project and the project stays there. So when I run the program, I need to be able to use the project. So let's continue. If I will be able to make this work, because the AI is not working perfectly at the moment. Are you chat interested in such type of software? Let me know. Or do you prefer computer vision into manufacturing companies? Do you prefer to focus on detection, go into these topics? Because I will take all the suggestions and then implement in next videos. So your feedback will be very valuable. So if there is something that you're working on, if you think something that's important to know in computer vision, some project that's challenging, I will be happy to hear the feedback. Okay, so everything should be working now. Let's try and see if everything is into the database. So let's create a new project. I will call this project tomatoes. Let's browse image folder. So let's find where the images are. We have on desktop. I will put another now tomato lab. Okay, let me find the tomatoes dataset. Where is this? Labels, tomato. Okay, I found the tomato dataset. Tomato, images, select folder, tomato, detection, tomato, tomato. So we have here tomato. Let's also import the labels like this. We imported the labels, everything is working. Let's save the project. Project saved successfully. Let's close this. Let's reopen this. Let's choose. There is nothing to choose. There is no project tomatoes, so there is not much we can do. Something needs to be done here. So that will be something that I will try to fix right now. We have now the database. The database is working. Now there is no way. So there is no way to load and save the project now. When I go in my list, in the project list, when I click save project, when I click save project, if I close the program and reopen it, again, I don't find the saved project. So let's see if we can get something out with this generic question. And if you're new watching this, if you're new to copilots and such stuff, the idea of building such software is using vibe coding. So I'm not writing any single line of code, despite I've been writing code for 10 years. I've been writing so many lines of code. I've been building so many projects. Only for YouTube, I released over 170 videos in the last 7 years, and 170 videos, something like this. And for each of them, there was some study in coding behind that. Now things are changing. Now the speed that we can get by vibe coding, so not writing code but asking the AI, it's something huge when it works, of course, because as you see, it's giving so many errors. Reach rate limit, which is not true. What is the rate? Okay, maybe let's wait a few seconds before asking the AI because it's complaining a lot. Yeah, I was saying the field is changing so much already in a few months, and the more we go, the less I see that we will write less code. That's my perception. Of course, things will evolve much slower if you work in big companies, because there you need to be careful about safety and you need to review properly the code. And if you go as fast as this, you might create a lot of problem with security. That's maybe why, if you're working in a big company, corporation, and you might not use either Copilot, or not at all, or very limited functionalities. Continue. Okay, let's now try to continue. But if you're building a full software by yourself, so whether you're launching a new startup, working on a personal project, working on a commercial project in a small team, so you're launching something new, within few thousands line of code, so not like a big structure. I mean, like it's already quite a big project to have been built by a single person, but it's not huge. Then the Copilot handles everything pretty well because it can read the entire project properly. Especially if you structure and plan it well, then things will work along the way. Now let me see. Let me see if it's spotting the problem. Looking at the code, the issue. I see the issue. The database integration needs to be initialized when the application starts. There is no way to load a saved project on startup. Let me fix this by initializing the database when the app starts, making sure the open project button works correctly, adding auto load of the last project or showing a project selector on startup. Now let me check load project into state. Let's allow this. The terminal ID doesn't. Now the issue that you need to install SQL Alchemy. The all new project syncs images. Of course, now things might fall apart a bit. At some point I will need to restructure it a bit properly. Now I need to move fast. Okay, it might be done. Let's see. Ah, no, it's not done. Oops, reach rate limit, continue. Would you like to load your most recent project? Very interesting. Okay, now it's loading the project. I can see. So this is the most recent project. This loads from the database. Let's create a new project. Let's say blood cell, images folder, blood cell dataset, select folder, blood cells. Let's add very random how the dataset is person, but we don't really care. I mean the annotation name. We don't really care because we want to test only the saving of the project. So let's save projects. Project saved successfully. Let's close. In the meantime, here it's still working. Let's run again. Would you like to, okay, now I cannot move it, it's on the other screen, but it's asked to run the most recent project. I want to show the list of all the available projects. So that's something here on the list. It would be nice to show a list of projects. That's something I might need to work on. Database location, okay, I think it finished. Now the editing. Here, blood data set. So when now things work because it loads the last project when I launch this one, but it doesn't load here the list of projects. So when I launch the annotation tool, I want to load by default, let's say the last project, but show the list of projects at the same time. When I launch the program, I want to run by default the last open project. At the same time, I also want that the list of projects available are loaded, because now I can only see the latest one. So let's try fixing this so that we can see all the projects that we have. I'll make 2 changes. Autoload the last project on startup without asking. That's something I want. Populate the project drop-down with available projects. Exactly. Otherwise, why do we have a list of projects if there is nothing in the list? Okay, changes made. Let's try this. I'm very curious to see how this works. So we load main. On startup, we have the latest project, which is awesome. And then we have the list. So if we want to switch, we go on tomatoes and we switch project. Great. I'm very happy because now the software is getting very interesting. We can switch, we can have different projects. It's very, very interesting. So let's close this. And let's now commit these changes. So add new structure, database, save project. Commit all the changes. So let's now quickly review what we can do now. We can open main. So that's our project. Now this is the latest project we were working on. We can export dataset. I'm not sure it's implemented, this one. Let's see, Coco JSON, probably it is. Let's say test on downloads. Export completed successfully. So we have the export function. We can export our dataset. We can do augmentation of the images. We need to think a bit here about the structure. So I want to make the process as simple as possible for whoever is going to use this software. So all the things like output folder, all the things that are not necessary, why do they need to select an output folder? I want to keep these very basic and simple inside the software. So I need to have like some default image folders that will be used by the software, and then maybe give the possibility to the person to change this specific folder. That's what we can do. That's something that we can do around the next times. And for today, I think we are good with the live. If you want to say some last message, chat, is it good this live for this time for streaming? I can stream around this time. I can stream a bit before for sure, but I might try also sometimes a bit later, more late afternoon, beginning of the evening, my time. So instead of finishing now, like starting it now, that could be also an option. So all the changes are saved. Thank you everyone that has been watching here so far, whether from the live or from the recorded video. I will notify you. So on YouTube, you will see when I'm going to make a new live, you will see here on the schedule live. Make sure that you subscribe here. You click the subscribe, hit the bell, so you will be notified whenever I'm going live or a new video will be released. This is all for now.